Hi guys, I just wanted to update you on how the kitchen is going. We are still working on the window. And finally we got the window correctly. It slides right, it's with the right everything, so we were excited to put it in, but we just kind of like slammed it in there and put a couple of screws to hold it, and that's what it's been for the past couple weeks. But I did need to fix the wall right here behind me because there was like a huge wave here. Starting from here it was low, and then it was like really high here, and then low again over here towards the window edge. And so I had to fill it with compound and I like make it level, because I am going to be putting here another cabinet that I really need, because we need storage like crazy here. I don't know how we ended up with so many things, but it seems like we need everything. I don't know. Because that's what happens when you don't have or you get rid of something, then you need it, right? I don't know if that happens to you, but it happens to me all the time. So I've been dealing with the wall here, and it's been like drying. Although it says it's 20 minutes to set, I think that you do need to leave it, let it cure for like more time, because it does that way it sets really nice. And because I'm gonna be hanging stuff, although we do have a stud here to anchor, I feel like you do need that to set. And then over here, if you can see, here's the window. There's like a lot of like reflection because of the bright light coming in. But the window here, I've been working on putting like an edge. If you can see right here, I don't know if you can. Where is this? Right there. And then I have my live plant here because it hangs. It has this metal thing here that has the magnet that hangs onto it. But I do put an edge here, a corner on all sides, and I'm gonna be putting, because I need to level the window, I'm gonna be putting some shims right here to level it, and then I'm gonna be able to finish the cover, go around the edges, and then do the trim. But that's what I've been working on slowly, and like one day here, one day there, and it's a lot to do, it seems. And there's a lot of things that you have to move every time, because we are living here and the kitchen is being used constantly, so it's really hard sometimes to work on the kitchen. So I'll show you how the whole progress goes and how everything is being done. All right. So in addition to working inside, I had to go outside to finish up the siding. And in this case, I had to finish it because we had just put our window there, and the siding that was there was the old siding, which was full of holes. That's how the previous workers that had come and done the reinforcement of the frame had left that there. And we were gonna leave it like that, but then I decided with my mom that was not a good look. It did not look cute. It was terrible, full of holes, and you could tell that it was somebody had worked there. So we had to go to the Home Depot, get a new piece of siding, and then cut it accordingly and patch it up nicely so that everything could be nice and professional. Oh yeah, I also had to take care of this huge hole that was left from the previous vent hood, and I had to get a piece of the siding that matched exactly so that all the lines could go perfectly aligned. There were a little bit of the holes on the sides there, because I should have done a complete square and straight cut, but I didn't. I just went with what was left there. Now with experience, I know that I can make a bigger hole. Doesn't matter. I can patch it up with my own siding. I don't need to follow those kind of like weird shapes. With that said, I filled the sides the best as I could with the joint compound. Then I did a little bit of wet sanding so that everything could be nice and softened, and then I painted. I know it doesn't look perfect, but that was done. Then my dad did a little bit more of the finishing touches on the outside of the window, painted, and then we were done. Okay, so now we are inside of the installation of the window, and what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be putting all around. I already put some sealer outside at the behind the fin of the window, like the window frame that the window has. But from the inside, I'm going to be putting a foam, which can be the liquid foam, which is this one. I chose this one. It's a Daptex Plus from DAP. And you can use, there's another one that's cheaper, I think a couple bucks more cheaper. But this is one that I got, and it's multi-purpose and it seals. You could also use the regular insulation if you wanted to, but I think this is an easier method, and this is what I'm gonna be doing. So I'm gonna put this on time lapse, and I'll just go around and just with the straw that you see right here, right there, you're just gonna shake it for about a good minute, and then just gonna like go in. And I'm gonna be doing 2 layers. That way I can do the inside, and then I can just go ahead and fill in just a little bit on the outside so that everything is good. All right, so I'll put this on time lapse and finish this off. Okay, so one of the things that I've been noticing now that I've been putting a little bit of the foam is just always have a damp piece of cloth or paper towel, and or wet. I think it's better if it's wet. And you can just go around, and it does expand quite a bit. And there's sometimes spaces in your going around your window where not everything is the same gap size. So be mindful of that, because I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to get this foam on those spaces so that I don't have any gaps. And then I'm gonna fill out the second layer. Okay, so at this point I have already put in the foam, and I just went in with the straw, and as you can see, hopefully you can see here, the foam is right there. And the only thing that I would recommend is if you have a piece of damp paper towel with you, and then you can, why is this not focusing? And then you can go in and just give it a couple of passes. You don't have to fill it all at once. Take your time and fill it in stages. Like do a first pass and then do a second pass until you fill up the gap, as you can see here. And just use your damp paper towel and go around, because the foam is not sticky at all. It's just literally like foam, and you can just wipe it off, and you'll have time to take it out before it sets and it dries, when I think at that point it will be very difficult to get rid of it. And it does say there not to cut off the dry foam, so do everything while you still have it fresh. And over here, the light right now is really bright because it's the afternoon, but if you can see here, right there is where I filled up the space, and I just went really flush to the window and just all around. There were some spaces down here where it wasn't as thick, the gap was not as big, because we do have, like, this is where the window is sitting, so we didn't have as much. So I just kind of like pushed it in so that I wouldn't have any air gaps, and that way I don't have any wind coming in, because we did have a lot of wind before, and this was not sealed, and I could just feel the wind come in it was kind of crazy. So it's absolutely necessary. It just helps the air not to get in, and if you have air conditioning or your heater on, it won't escape. Okay, so the next step in this process after the sealing with the foam from the inside is that we're going to be doing our trim all around the window, and that's going to be one of the finishing touches. I still have to finish the wall and just kind of like sand it and make it even, smooth it out, and just go around all of the wall over here. Today we are on the wall. I already put in the sealer here for the windows so that there is no air or anything coming in. So I have moved on to the wall. The wall needs to be, as you can see the darker spots there, like grayish. It's because the compound is still wet, but I'm trying to like even out the wall. The wall is super wavy, as I had told you before, and I'm trying to do here as well in the back of the, let me see if I can move here. Sorry about the mess, as always. This is the wall behind the stove, and so I'm trying to like make it nice. I had already done like some fixing here, and now I'm moving on into the mudding of the wall, and I'm gonna be making it nice and smooth so that it's not like an eyesore once you move the stove for any reason, and that we can paint it and make it nice. That way it'll be waterproof too, you know, if I put once I put the paint, and then we'll do the tiling hopefully in the future. But for now, what we want to do is just get the walls nice and smooth, and that it looks a little bit more put together. I also bought all the stuff for the trim for the window, and I'm gonna be doing that, and I'll be showing you how I do it. Another thing that I wanted to show you guys is that I am using this compound. This one is the dry compound, and then you just add, here you go, then you just add water, and it takes 20 minutes to set. So you have 20 minutes to work the material into the wall, and 20 minutes go by really fast, let me just tell you that. But once you're done, I'm using here this kind of like bowl, and I'm using funny enough, this is an old spatula, but it's really rigid. It's not like your regular spatulas, which I like not only for when I'm baking, but I like it for this because this is material that is not easy to mix. If you had a regular spatula, it wouldn't really mix fast enough. So what I'm doing here is, once I'm done with most of the material, I just let it sit for a little bit, that it's because it's gonna start setting, and that's the moment when you have to like start scraping your bowl from any material, and then you'll end up scraping your spatula as well. And then I just put it all in one pile right here, super messy, but this will keep you from like getting, once you mix more, because you're gonna be mixing more, then you can mix more without having the dry material, which becomes kind of like rocks, and then you get lines in when you're putting in your compound. We're ready to do the trim for this kitchen window, and what I'm going to be doing is showing you what I did for the trim, the inside trim. Then I'm going to show you how I did the outside trim. So what I have done is I got some wood planks from the store, and because on the sides the seam is not as thick as the one on the top, we are going to be using, what I grabbed was 1/4 inch by 2.5, and this was sufficient for the depth that I have, for the width that I have from the window to the wall, the outside of the wall, and I cut it to length, to the width. So once I did that, you can see there's a gap because we're gonna be putting the trim at the bottom and at the top. The top trim is gonna be just a regular trim, but because it's thicker on the top that I have to cover, this is 3/4 inch, and I'm gonna be able to get away with that thickness because that's gonna allow me to not show the seam right there for where we put the window. And then at the bottom, because I like to get myself into more trouble than I should, I'm gonna be doing an apron, which is basically just like a little shelf at the bottom here of the window. And as you can see, I cut here the edges to be able to fit this into the window. So if you can see, there goes the wood. We are putting, I have all this stuff because I've been working here on the wall, but we're gonna be putting, if you can see there, what we call the apron. And then I have all the sides that I'm gonna be putting right here and right here. Don't try this at home. Do this before you. Okay, I'm just gonna put it loosely there, and then I got this side right here, right there. And what I'm gonna be first putting some glue, and then I'm gonna be doing the caulking around it so that everything is nice and smooth. But in the beginning, I'm gonna be putting some nails too, and that way everything is locked into place. And then I gotta put this side. Yeah, actually, which side is this? Oh, here. So this side right here, and I'm gonna be putting it all together here at the top. Right now it's not. Let me get something where I can stand right there, like you can see here, and it's really nice and tight. So before putting it all like this, because this is just the dry fit, we're gonna be putting on the glue and the nails so that everything is secure. We're gonna be nailing it to the wood studs that we have around the window so that it's really secure. Okay guys, so here we are. Yay. And I already put the trim for the inside of the window, and as you can see, we have covered right there the gap that was showing before, and I used a plank of wood that was 3/4 inch. Usually they're 3/4 inch. I think it was like 3.5 inches wide, so I had to cut it down to the measurement, which was like 1 inch 7/8, almost 2 inches. And then on this side I used a 1/4 inch wood piece that was 2.5 inches wide, but then this here is not quite as wide, so I also had to cut it to the width. And so I did that on both sides because we didn't have as thick of a gap right here, so I can just caulk it and it'll be fine. And then I wanted to do an apron right here, so all I did was measured. This is a 3.5 inch wood piece by 3/4 inch, and the nice thing is that it's gonna be really nice and sturdy. And all I did was measure that, and then it just measured the depth from here to the edge. And with that, I cut right here a piece at the end of the board, and I did that on both sides. And another thing that I did is that I put my trim here just to measure how wide the trim was, and then from there we have we're gonna have 3/8 of an inch that is gonna be a little bit off from that. Okay, so if you can see here, I have put the trim that I'm gonna be using, and you always have to have 3/8 of an inch, a little bit over where your trim is, and that's the same measurement that I'm gonna have on this other side over here. So right here, you see, it's gonna be 3/8 right there. And then I'm gonna do a trim down below, making the angles so that it looks really nice and fancy. And over here, I'm gonna be cutting in the angle, 45-degree angle, which clearly this is way bigger. So it's good because then I have more to cut from. All right, so this is how it's looking right now. I'm gonna head back a little bit to show you how it's looking from the inside. It looks really nice, clean, just cool, you know. And there you go. And then I'll be putting the trim, the molding on the outside. So I'll come back to show you that as well. All right, so here is part of the wall that I'm working on here, next to the, well, behind the vent hood. And what I did, unfortunately, was I didn't finish this whole wall over here before putting this on. So I've had to work a little bit harder because I put the joint compound here, and I don't know if you can tell here, but there are some spots where the joint compound, when you put the scraper here, they kind of like accumulate over here. So I've been trying to do everything really smoothly where I don't have to sand too much, but still it's a little bit of work, and those spots that are high spots are kind of hard to get to. So just a thing to be taking into consideration when you're doing your walls. Try to do them all at once. Also, here in the corner, I've been trying to smooth out everything as much as possible so that I don't have to do any, or at least that I just have to do minimal sanding. Right now this is, as you can see, this is drying out. And what I see now is just some spots where I have to sand, like here. They look a little rough, I don't know why. But I think if I go with my hand, oh, this is from the, now I see. This is from the sanding up, that I was doing up in the vent hood. But so, like this one here, I did like this, and this, you can see it's a little bit rough. So I'm gonna have to work a little bit here, and it's next to the cabinet, so I have to be careful. And just a reminder, do your work when you're doing your joint compound for the drywall. Do it as smooth as possible and as flat as possible, so that when you do go for the last and final sanding, you don't have to work as much, and you don't have to really work at all. So this is this, and hope to finish as soon as possible. And here's the part that I have finished so far. And I'll come back with the finished wall. We have finished the corner of the kitchen right here. I smoothed out the wall so that it didn't have the same the texture that it had before, so that it can be even with the rest of the kitchen. As you can see, I smoothed out all the walls all over the place, right here in this wall. And I just wanted to make it uniform because we are gonna be putting tiling up to like the cabinet here, from the countertop to the cabinet. But we don't have that, we still haven't decided on what we want to put, so that's going to be taking a little bit of a while more. And so that's where I decided to just put the wall, smooth it out and paint it so that everything looks uniform or put together, and that we're ready to start using it. So this is the, you could say, the half reveal of the kitchen. We still have to put some finishes at the top of the cabinets. Can we focus? Top of the cabinets all over, and I'll be working on that. I still have some stuff here underneath the sink that I have to take care of in terms of all the paneling. So I'm really excited about this, guys, and it's looking really nice and very, very neat. I've made some changes since the time that I finished this part of the kitchen, guys, so stay tuned for everything that I've updated in the next videos. God bless you.